also has that Ice Q in here, and Locke is playing other Arceus V-Star, and that means Arceus V-Star, Reggie Drago V-Star. This is not an archetype we have ever seen on our stream.
Is this what they refer to, Chip, as the pile? The arc pile?
Arc pile can be anything new. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's just whatever you're feeling, whatever falls out of your binder that day.
Yep.
And for Locke for this tournament, it turns out it was Reggie Drago V-Star and a bunch of Dragon-type Pokemon.
Absolutely. I am so excited to see where this match decides to go. Going into NAIC as well from Nate's side of the field, playing Mew VMAX. This is something that was kind of hotly debated. Spiritom's out there, but will it be played? Is there enough decks that can utilize it well enough where you're going to be hitting it consistently? And Nate decided, I'm going to take Mew VMAX into this field. I am not scared. And guess what? That has led him to a 5-0 record so far. So that is awesome to see here from Nate Doyle.
Yeah, it looks like Nate did get top 32 at the turn special event with the Mew VMAX, so he's sticking with what he knows. It is a bit different here. He was playing that classic DTE, straightforward, turbo, consistent version of the deck over there in Turin, but now rocking with that Fusion Strike energy. Wants to make sure he at least has something for Spiritomb, right? Spiritomb is bound to be out there. You want to make sure you at least have some sort of answer.
We got the Penguin.
And we got the Penguin to target it down. We've got the Fusion Strike energies to protect the Genesects as well. This matchup, though, I'm interested to see how it will play out. Locke does not have a Drapion V in his deck, it looks like. And
that's like the one Pokemon missing, right?
Yeah, that's pretty important for this Arceus deck in a Mew matchup. This matchup is definitely something that can be tough for Arceus on paper. We'll have to see what ends up happening here in this set.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one indeed. Oh, unfortunately here, 2 Judge in the prize cards for Locke. 2 Grass Energy as well, an Ultra Ball, and that Hisuian Goodra V-Star.
All right, so you may notice that it does say Nate has 1 win, and we've gotten word that that is because of a game loss that was unfortunately issued to Locke. So Locke is already starting this match at a bit of a deficit. Nate only has to win 1 game from this best of 3. Ooh. So I think it was a deck issue, something like that.
Gotcha.
And
all right, here we go.
That means that Locke is going to have, you know,
a difficult time.
Have a difficult time here, but is starting off going first. That is the thing about getting a game loss. You actually do get to choose if you want to go first or second.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Because you've already lost a game, so Locke obviously wants to choose to go first with an Arceus deck.
Yeah, that is very, very true. Arceus is very important to go first so that you can begin powering up your Pokemon as soon as possible with that Arceus V-Star eventually down the line here. Okay, so there's a lot of Pokemon in this deck, Chip. There's plenty to choose from. What do you think is going to be the strategy for Locke headed into this match, knowing that he's going against Mew VMAX?
Yeah, this is going to be tough. So he does have the Noivern EX that he can copy Roaming Echo with, or Dominating Echo, excuse me. It deals 140 damage, and your opponent can't play any special energy cards from their hand during their turn.
Ooh, okay.
But they can still Alessa Sparkle an energy into play.
Oh, yeah, that's so true.
So that's what makes it tough. If we get to a point, though, where Locke, on Nate's side, he doesn't have an energy attached to one of his Mew VMAX, or at least a Fusion Strike energy, maybe. We could see that Dominating Echo come through, and then even if you Fusion Strike energy 1, you can't attach the other that you need.
Yeah, that is very true. Well, we'll see where Locke is able to go here, but it was just going to be the energy attachment there to that benched Arceus V and a pass over to Nate. So Mew is pretty well known for either having very explosive first turns or very lackluster first turns. But starting off with a heads on Cremomatic is definitely where you want to be for sure on Nate's side. So looking through the deck here, making sure to familiarize himself with what is in the prize cards here for this Mew VMAX deck. I don't think it was anything too wild, though.
Yeah, nothing too wild. I think Nate will likely be looking for that Battle VIP pass here this turn. Cremomatic could also find an Alessa Sparkle at some point. We should remember and adjust our thinking here. It's not DTE Mew where we need to wait a turn. Nate could take a knockout this turn and take 2 prizes to start the game. And the fact that Locke only got 1 Pokemon in play means all Nate needs is an Escape Rope in combination with Meloetta, Fusion Strike Energy, 1 Power Tablet, and the Alessa Sparkle. take out that Arceus V, and that is just going to be, that would be really tough for Locke to find a way to deal with.
Yeah, that's almost an impossible hill to climb, unfortunately. And
it is a lot to get, but if there's a deck that can do it, it's Mew VMAX, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is the benefit to this version of Mew VMAX. It has the capability to do that. But here we go. We'll see how this is able to go here for Nate Doyle. If we will see that explosive knockout here, potentially, that could absolutely cripple Locke in the future of these turns.
Oh,
and wow, having the Force Seal Stone is huge here for Nate. Being able to just flip that V-Star marker that's able to be used once per game to get any card out of the deck here.
It looks like another VIP pass will be the grab, but Nate did also find a Fusion Strike Energy. That's a key piece to get into hand. You can attach that now to the Meloetta. Now all he needs is an Alessa Sparkle and an Escape Rope, and he's got plenty of Fusion Strike systems to do it.
Yeah, that's really not a lot to ask if you're playing Mew VMAX. I guess you could have some very awkward hands happen.
He does need a power tablet still. We can't forget that piece. That's one more piece to boost the damage of Melodious Echo up over that 220 HP of Arceus V.
Yeah, there's one power tablet in the prize cards, but plenty still left in the deck here. So we're going to see that attachment here to that Meloetta for Nate's. And we're using our first Fusion Strike system. This is the engine of this deck, those Genesect V with that ability. Fusion Strike system allowing you to draw up to how many Fusion Strike Pokemon you have in play. So lots of draw here. I do see a power tablet now for Nate, so that's one piece of the puzzle here. Thinning down the hand as well, attaching that secondary Forest Seal Stone, of course, not being able to be used, but you need it out on the field here. And thinning even more with that Lost Vacuum, just getting rid of it, and another card from the hand as well. Power tablet's going to be played. Can we get the rest of it, Chip?
Yeah, we'll see. Needs two pieces now. Has two Fusion Strike systems to do it. This one doesn't get him any closer.
Yeah, another Lost Vacuum, I suppose, as well. So still can thin down a bit. But
you have to ask yourself at some point, how worth it is it to burn through these resources? He's already played one Lost Vacuum. Locke's playing an Arceus deck, so it's pretty likely your opponent plays Path to the Peak.
Yeah, like could play a power tablet, but you don't really want to if you only need one.
Do you want to lose the other Lost Vacuum in your hand as well, which is one of your counters to the Path?
Yeah, it's
Nate
definitely
does play a couple
awkward.
stadiums of his own.
Look at that.
It is just going to be the pass. Wow.
That is it. It's going to be the pass, playing it safe here and rolling a Tails on that Capturing Aroma for Locke's side of the field. Of course, Tails means a basic Pokemon being searched out of the deck here for Locke.
Yep, probably going to grab another Regidrago V if he would like. The goal of this Arceus Regidrago deck is to get a bunch of Dragon-type Pokemon into the discard pile so that you can copy the Apex Dragon attack of Regidrago V-Star in order to, or use that attack so you can copy any attacks from your Dragon Pokemon in the discard pile. So Locke's going to be looking to discard Pokemon that we've seen plenty of before, like Giratina V-Star, Hisuian Gudra V-Star, Duraludon V-Max, and Noivern EX look to be the four options that he has.
Yep, absolutely. That is going to be what the strategy is here for Locke. We see an Iono here for both these players. So all the cards that were in hand going to the bottom of the deck, drawing into 6 for each prize card still left for these players. Let's see what the hand has given Locke.
He's at least got an Ultra Ball, which we know will lead to a Arceus V-Star. Looks like a Path to the Peak is in the hand as well.
Nice.
And I think there is a double Turbo Energy. So Locke should have everything he needs to get off the attack here. And the fact that he has Choice Belt as well actually means he will take 2 prizes on this active Genesect V. And that'll be a quick early lead for Locke. This is exactly what you need to see as this Arceus type of deck, where you're coming into the game already with a game loss.
Yeah, and you still have that V-Star power as well that Locke can use or not use. So we'll see. It is going to be used here for Locke. Starbirth searching out 2 of any card from the deck here now. So we'll see. A nice little graphic there.
And this will definitely get a switch, and the question is, what else does Locke want to prepare? Probably just a supporter card for next turn. I don't think he had much going on in the hand, so maybe a Judge, Iono. Could just go with the research if he wants to keep getting set up. This is going to be nice. He's going to be able to power up his Regidrago V-Star on the bench, but the thing he's missing is he still does not have any of those strong Dragon Pokemon in his discard pile. So that is the piece he is still going to need to work on finding next turn.
Yeah, and then it's just pick and choose. What do you want to copy here to do some damage to Mew VMAX? It just becomes a sort of hybrid deck, I suppose. But here we go. This is exactly what Locke has needed so far and is going to get down that path to the peak.
Very strong.
An essential part of this turn because that's going to shut down Nate's ability to draw cards with those Fusion Strike systems unless there's a way to break that path to the peak. And it does look like there's some Cremomatics in the hands for that potential. But Locke just shuffling up here now after placing down that path to the peak.
Looks like Nate was able to find a Lost City off of that Iono. So it does have the counter stadium right away.
Oh, perfect.
Which is going to be pretty nice. And also has his own Iono in hand, which could be really strong to put Locke to just 4 cards, and especially when Locke just took 2 prize cards. So you put your opponent down to 4 immediately, and the fact that Locke used his Arceus V-Star power to get 2 cards, and then only played 1 of them. So you know Locke is sitting on something good.
Absolutely, yeah, you have that knowledge there for sure. So, but Locke was able, of course, to use that Trinity Nova to take that knock, which is going to align that Regidrago with all those energy too. So the board is where it needs to be, at least here for Locke. But Nate is now playing, guiding this deck into hopefully another win here and taking a 2-0 in the Swiss round 6. Lost City bumped that path to the peak nice and quick, and Ultra Ball is going to discard an Iono and a Cremomatic.
I think Nate has a Pal Pad in hand, so he might just be discarding this Iono in order to put it back into the deck so that he gets multiple cards out of his hand, which is a pretty strong play. I think the best turn possible for Nate here would be to Boss's Orders, KO that Regidrago V-Star, get a bunch of modifiers, and go after that. It's going to be pretty tough to do, though. When you're already down a Power Tablet, there's one in the prize cards, and you're down a Fusion Strike Pokemon as well. We'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. We see the evolution into that Mew VMAX in the active position. Double Turbo Energy also being attached there for Nate Doyle. And here we go. We're rolling the dice again on a Cremomatic. Is going to be a Tails this time, so no search from the deck. But hey, that path to the peak isn't in play anymore, and there's an empty hand there for Nate. So we're going to see an additional 5 cards to the hand here.
Does find the Alessa Sparkle, so that's an option if he wants to try to attack with the Meloetta, just going into the active Arceus potentially. Also, Nestball can maybe grab another Genesect from the deck in order to keep drawing cards. It's going to be that 4th and final Genesect, as one did go down on turn number 1. Also has Boss's Orders as well, so plenty of ways to try to navigate this turn.
Yeah, and even more cards being able to be drawn now. That Nestball bringing out another Genesect V, so being replaced from the one that was knocked out here, and that is going to be a full bench here on Nate Doyle's side.
Could go Boss's Orders actually after the Regidrago V, and that's exactly what Nate is going to do. This is a lot easier to KO. Now all Nate needs is a Choice Belt or a Power Tablet, and that'll get him this knockout.
Yeah, we'll see if Nate can pull that together here.
I think it's going to be a draw for 1 on this Fusion Strike system. No other playable cards. Let's see it. No damage modifier.
Yeah, that's just a Boss's Orders. That is not going to help whatsoever here in this turn.
Yeah, that is a pretty unfortunate whiff.
Yes.
Just a hit for 190 damage here with the Cross Fusion Strike copying a Technoblast.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Definitely not what you want to see, that is for sure. You need to be taking knockouts here. Oh, wait.
He's going to use Cross Fusion Strike to copy Melodious Echo, actually. Only dealing 50 damage with only 1 Fusion Strike energy being in play. I guess you don't want to have to worry about finding a switch card next turn to reset the effect of Technoblast. Must be his thought process here, and just getting some damage means you should be able to 2-hit KO it later.
Yeah, playing around that for sure. That makes a lot of sense to me. Now that HP is going to be 280 because of the evolution into that Regidrago V-Star now, into a Judge as well for Locke. So both these players shuffling their decks up here and drawing into 4 new cards.
Only 4 cards here for Locke, and he really needs to find a switching card. He's already down 1 switch. He only plays 1. And his only other option is going to be an escape rope. Sorry, he already played the actual switch. Now he needs to find his 1 escape rope, and only 4 cards to do it.
4 cards to do it, and this deck has so many Pokemon in it.
Yeah.
It's incredibly clunky if you're looking at it on paper. So we'll see if Locke is able to find that, but nope, it is not going to be found here for Locke. Passing over to Nate Doyle here. We're on this side of the field now, and Nate gets another chance to hopefully piece things together. Like you said, didn't copy Technoblast, so no need for that retreat to reset the Mew VMAX now here for this turn.
Going to spread the Fusion Strike energies out a little bit. Would have that option to find Alessa Sparkle potentially to get this KO. I think you really want to save the Alessa Sparkle for a turn when you're KOing a 280 HP Pokemon that has no damage on it. Looks like Nate was able to find a damage modifier here, though.
Ooh, very nice. Now it has some options.
It does still need 2 modifiers in order to get a KO with Mew VMAX. He's dealing 220 right now if he plays a Power Tablet, so then he would need to find a Choice Belt as well. The math doesn't super line up, and that would actually be a reason that you could argue maybe Nate should have just hit this Reggie last turn. Just do 190 to it, so it's a little easier to try to find a way to knock it out next turn.
Yeah, that is very true, and now Nate's in this position thinking hard to decide what to do from here.
Something Nate could do would be Escape Rope plus Dig for Alessa Sparkle. He has the rope in hand. And we're actually going to see him play it slow again. Okay.
Wow, okay.
So it does have more Fusion Strike energy in play now, so that'll be 100 damage. Or sorry, 120 damage.
Yeah, I think they were adding up the math there, but it has all been placed here now onto that Reggie Drago. So that is hanging on here. Locke using a professor's research. This is going to be a lot more cards, at least to the hand here for Locke. Let's hope to see.
Yeah, Locke really wanting to find a double turbo energy here. That's or an escape rope. One of those 2 ways. Just some way to get this Reggie Drago out of the active spot. So Trekking Shoes is going to dig through the deck a little bit more, and it finds an Adventurer's Discovery.
Oh my goodness.
I think he's just going to have to attach to the active again.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't see any other options here for Locke. Unfortunately, just absolutely missing every card needed to be able to do something stronger in this turn. At least we do see the path to the peak, so going to see some disruption there from Locke. But yeah, not finding that double turbo or a way to switch, just having to attach to the active again.
Another Fusion Strike energy drawn for turn for Nate. We're at the point now where Nate might not even have to play Alessa Sparkle.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't even play it.
Yeah. Next turn, he can just attach it from hand somewhere and get that full effect Melodious Echo for 280. And that's the thing that you want to avoid as the Arceus player in a matchup like this. Keep your Fusion Strike opponent from getting to the point where they're able to one-hit KO all of the Pokemon in your deck.
Yeah, anything they absolutely want. That is for sure. That is tough to go against. We're seeing a judge here between these players. I mean, this match is definitely, I don't know what I necessarily expected from this match, but I guess I didn't really expect this. These have been some pretty awkward turns here for both of our players.
Yeah, pretty awkward indeed. Locke does only play 1 Choice Belt, so that limits the option of something like, I was thinking maybe a Lost Impact copied by a Giratina V-Star that was in the discard pile onto a Reggie Drago V-Star. That's 310. That's a knockout on a Mew VMAX, but Locke has already used that 1 Choice Belt on an Arceus V-Star. So it's looking a little awkward how the end game is going to navigate here. Honestly, for both of our players, Nate at least will get this KO. Path to the Peak means he can't use any of his abilities, but Max Miracle being copied or Melodious Echo doesn't really matter. Both of them picking up this knockout.
Yep, that is going to be a huge knockout here for Nate Doyle, going down 2 prize cards. Locke took those 2 prize cards so early in the game off that Genesect V, so tying up the game here now. 4 prize cards each for our players left to take, and we're over on Locke's side of the field. Arceus V-Star. Starting off with the Capturing Aroma here is going to be a basic Pokemon off of that card.
Yeah, not what Locke wanted to see. He wants to get some evolutions into hand so he can discard them. That's really what he would like to do. I think his best play this turn would be to boss his orders, the Meloetta, to be honest, and it doesn't look like he has that option, and yet again flips another Tails.
Another Tails on the Capturing Aroma, which means another basic, and that's just going to be a fail here from that basic search from Locke. Nothing to search out there.
Just going to have to shuffle, and I think his play is Serena, bring up a Genesect, most likely. He could Serena and discard to draw some cards as well and just try to 2-hit KO this Mew VMAX, but maybe his best play is to go Serena KO a Genesect into Boss's Orders or Serena KO another Genesect and just ignore Mew VMAX, ignore Meloetta completely. He's actually going to just hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on to that resource of Serena so you can save it for later. You know your opponent's bench is full, so there's no Psychic Leaping. This damage is going to stay in play.
Yeah, and if this knockout happens on this Mew VMAX, that's down 3 prize cards. Mew VMAX is worth 3 because it is a VMAX Pokemon here, which means Locke would only need to take 1 additional prize card. And of course, that Meloetta is worth 1 prize card, so the prize mapping is there for Locke. Now we're over on Nate's side of the field here, kicking off this turn, eyeing up the Lesser Sparkle and looking through the discard pile as well, because there's still a Fusion Energy somewhere.
Yeah, this is a perfect turn to go for the Meloetta.
Yes.
Attack with a 1-prizer, take a 1-hit KO, deal the 280 damage, and this is just such a powerful play. As the Fusion Mew player, you feel like if you ever get to the 280 with Melodious Echo, it is really difficult to lose.
Yeah, and I feel like we don't see it super often either. Usually it's more staggered in the match, but yeah, this is what you see sometimes. All of these Fusion Energy being drawn out onto the deck. None in the prize cards, none left in the deck, none in the discard. Nate Doyle has them all on field.
Nate could use Cross Fusion Strike to copy the Melodious Echo. He could use it with his benched Mew VMAX. It has a little bit more HP, and you have a higher chance of conserving your energy cards in play. So that might be what we see him go for. I think you give yourself a chance to lose the game, because what can happen here in this spot is on this turn, if Locke goes Boss, KO Meloetta with a lone Regidrago, and then Regidrago doesn't go down, you don't have a super easy way to dig for the 1-hit knockout. You can get there, but it's a lot more work, and then on the next turn, Locke can win by KOing the Mew VMAX, unless you Psychic Leap it out. And I don't know. We'll see exactly what happens here, how it's going to play out. Research is going to discard the hand now to draw 7.
Yeah, it could be awkward indeed, depending on what happens here. Locke drawing into 7 additional cards, a bunch of trekking shoes in the hands now for Locke. Did finally find that escape rope as well.
I think well, I don't know. It's tough. You need to escape rope here and hope your opponent sends up Meloetta. I think is Locke's play at this point, because otherwise Nate just has win on board. You could hope your opponent sends up. Yeah, I think this is the smartest play. If Nate had sent up Genesect and didn't have a way to retreat, maybe Locke can win.
That's true.
So I think the Locke was maybe hoping for that. Just send up the Genesect and then go for the Noivern attack, potentially Covert Flight or Dominating Echo, but Nate playing around all of those options by sending up this Mew VMAX, even though it'll lose him a prize. It's or 3 prizes, I should say. He's got win on board.
Yeah, exactly. It's if you don't care about it going down because you're just going to win, then you are in a solid position here. So definitely not what Locke wanted to be seen promoted off of that escape rope, but Nate is not given any free wins here. So that's where we're at. And of course, Nate has that 1 game win already because of that deckless error or something of the sorts on Locke's side. So Locke is an uphill battle already, and that's going to be it.
Looking for any out that just wasn't there. Locke recognizes, sees the writing on the wall, and Nate Doyle breathing a sigh of relief, getting to 6-0, recognizing that, hey, I had that one a little easy. Only had to get 1 win, and he's happy to take it.
Happy to take it indeed, as he should be, for sure. Bringing Mew VMAX into our NAIC here and playing it confidently, playing it fantastically, and now at a record of 6-0 here, and we got to see it happen on the stream. I would have loved to see a little more from Locke's deck because it really is so interesting. There's so much in this deck to kind of pick apart, so many different counters to different matchups, but unfortunately when you're playing against Mew VMAX, this is sometimes how the cookies crumble.
Yeah, definitely not the best